Wow, that was too loud. Welcome, everyone, to ThursdAI for October 23rd. My name is Alex Volkov. I'm an AI evangelist with weights and biases and host of ThursdAI for the past many number of years. Over 2.5 years now. Join me, my general co-host panel is going to join very, very soon, and we have a very exciting week, very eye-opening week in terms of a lot of VL LLMs getting released, a lot of OCR getting released. DeepSeek came back with a new one. So we're going to chat about all of this. And also, this is our second live stream this week. We already had one starting with ChatGPT Atlas, the browser. So we live watched that announcement. It was there on Tuesday. And we then dove in, downloaded the browser, and used it. And since then, I've been using this as my default browser. And so I have some of the other panelists who we're definitely going to chat about ChatGPT Atlas at length. We also have a big amount of breaking news for this week, for today, and we're expecting a few more breaking news as I think Microsoft Copilot sessions is happening or is going to happen in 30 minutes or so. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on this, and we'll ask folks who are tuned in with us to also keep an eye on this and send us some of these updates as we're engaged with the show. So with that, I think the usual banter happens when there are a co-host. It looks like we're missing Wolfram and a few others. They're going to join soon. But with that, I think it's time for a TLDR. Oh, we also have a few guests today to join and talk about some of the stuff that they did. So I'm looking forward to chat with Paul Klein from Browserbase, and our friend Qwen Kramer is supposed to come and join and talk about some updates in the world of real-time lip sync, although his tech was only used for that. And I believe we have another guest joining us as well. Somebody who Alexander Doria is his nickname on X, and he did a deep dive into DeepSeek OCR, and so I invited him. I believe his first name is Pierre. So we'll definitely add the real names of the people and the guests to show notes once they join. With that, I will also say hello to Nisten and hello to Jan. Welcome, friends. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Nisten, you're looking fresh. We already noticed this on the previous live stream.
I've literally just been outside coding in the balcony because it was really warm in Canada this week, and it's winter is coming.
So, let's do some banter for the favorite AI release of this week. We usually do this before the TLDR starts, and to get like folks a chance to get into the show, say hi to us in comments, and while we share ours, folks who are listening, feel free to share yours as well. Somebody already shared the Claude Code Web is their favorite. Nisten, what is your favorite AI release this week?
I was going back and forth between what I liked, but then when I actually tried the DeepSeek OCR one, it not only does optical character recognition, it rebuilds it as HTML. So it looks at a chart and then it rebuilds the chart back up. That is very useful even to use with a non-free model. So that feature I had not really seen anywhere else. The other ones can grab the images like the dots and what the other one, mini PCM or something. They can grab the images, they can reinsert them into other documents. But this one would actually rebuild them correctly. So that's why this one became my favorite after trying it. I've also been trying the Claude Web one. I have some opinions on that. It's so, but I think it's going to end up being a little bit better. I've been using it quite a bit too. So
nice. Obviously, folks love your opinions, and also we do. We try to give you listeners multiple opinions and not just like hype a release. Nisten is very good at that, so I really appreciate the outlook there. Jan, what is your must-have AI release for this week?
Both Claude Code Web and DeepSeek OCR are sick. Seriously. DeepSeek OCR, like, everyone gets that they want the tokens. You all get the idea of it. Like, you can convert loads of PDF only from the web into Markdown. That's a lot of tokens. That unlocks a lot of tokens. I mean, we see the play here. We see the idea.
Yep.
It's pretty cool that they release it wild, because you see folks like Archive Alpha all of a sudden going through the entire archive and just making it all available through API with Markdown. Like, it came out 3 days ago, and all of a sudden it's already went through the entire archive. It's huge.
Yep.
I mean, and we just have it open. It's
Yep.
crazy. And also Claude Code Web. Look, I've been a fan of Claude Code since day one. But for but for a different reason. It can control the entire computer. And Claude Code Web is the version that doesn't do that. Kind of. It's more like it's for the other part of Claude Code, which is, working with GitHub as you should in, industry practices and so on. It's very useful, no doubt. So it's a really interesting combination, because we're coming full circle here. Like, you start from the terminal, now you go through the IDE, and then you get to a web app, and you get to a mobile phone app, and what exactly are we doing here? I'm not entirely sure, but it's really, really interesting. Seriously.
So we'll definitely also solicit kind of questions from the audience about how they intend to use Claude Code Web versus Claude Code CLI, for example. I will share mine, then we'll jump into TLDR, because a lot of topics this week to talk about. Obviously, browser from ChatGPT and potentially other browsers for me. I realized why, by the way. We were on a live stream when ChatGPT Atlas, the browser that OpenAI launched this week, that's Chromium-based, released. And I then realized that I used to work on a browser. I spent 2 years working on a Chromium-based browser back, I don't know, over a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago. And I have experience with browsers. I also, like, as a front-end developer previously, I participated in the first browser war. I followed every release for HTML5, CSS3, Edge, Internet Explorer, etc. So this hit home very hard for me, and this reminded me of the browser wars as well. It's really funny, actually, that my manager from back this time is now watching with us. Shout out to Ariel. Back when we were building browsers, and I posted about this. Building a browser is not easy. There's so many decisions. And so for some reason also on X, the new Grok-fueled algorithm really loves the stuff that you engage with and hate. So for some reason, my whole feed was people hating on ChatGPT Atlas, and I couldn't help myself but just, somebody's wrong on the internet. I'm going to tell them. And then the second I engaged, it started showing me only that content. It was ridiculous. So, like, I was scrolling, and my whole feed is just people after like 3 days, not even 3 days, the same day. I extensively use browser ChatGPT. It sucks. It's blah blah blah. So this was definitely my favorite one. I also ran. I also ran the ChatGPT Atlas agent for 4 hours, trying to complete a compliance training with the company that one of those compliance trainings you have to, and it did after 5 hours. And I was very, very impressed. Also annoying. So I definitely have a lot to say about this. We'll add LDJ super quick. LDJ, welcome. We're in the process of asking each one what is their favorite singular AI release from this week that we must talk about, and then we're gonna go and talk about the TLDR.
Yeah, this week was really interesting. One of you probably already said this, but DeepSeek OCR, I think that's something noteworthy.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's the first thing we're gonna start with, right? Like, it makes perfect sense. DeepSeek is the heavy whale in the AI open source, and the second they release something, it goes. All right, folks.
For the audience here that's just listening, all of us, when we said that, Yam wasn't here when I was saying DeepSeek OCR, and LDJ was not here when Yam was saying DeepSeek as well. So we were unaware of each other's opinions when we all said it for different reasons.
Because it's crazy. It is crazy because it's just crazy.
When it makes sense, it makes sense. All right, folks, let's do TLDR. Let's run through everything we're going to talk about. And then, meanwhile, the folks who are tuned in, if you're on X or on YouTube, whatever, feel free to subscribe, feel free to like, feel free to share with your friends. Reshare the stream if you're on X. That's really helpful because the algorithm does not like people like us who don't talk exclusively about Grok and how amazing Grok is. So, help us out. All right, TLDR. This is it. This is the TLDR, the section on ThursdAI where we just tell you about all of the news together in a very short period without going into detail so that you'll know. And then you'll know which... generally the outline of our show, and you also know which segments to stick around for. So for today, your host is Alex Volkov, AI evangelist with Weights and Biases. We actually don't have Wolfram. He's on a well-deserved vacation. Shout out Wolfram. Maybe he's tuning in. But if not, we'll see him next week when he's going to stand in for me. We have Jan Peleg Nistenta here and LDJ here, and we're going to have a few other guests and friends. We're going to have Paul Klein from Browserbase, and we're going to have Quindla Kramer, our friend, step in very, very soon to talk to us about some real-time stuff. As everybody here already told you, once we dive into open source LLMs, this is a few of the releases this week. LDJ, you want to read through this list super quick for folks and see if I missed anything big as well? LDJ, you muted.
Oh, thank you. Yep, I was muted. So DeepSeek OCR, efficient vision text compression for massive contexts. Liquid AF. Oh, sure. I guess you want me to summarize.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I just opened it. I'm assuming you're looking at let's go to Liquid Foundation model. We had a bunch of basically the TLDR of the TLDRs that we had a bunch of vision model releases in the tiny space, including one from yesterday from Qwen. But yeah, go ahead, LG.
I guess I'll briefly at least summarize DeepSeek OCR. So
just give us like a 1-2 sentence.
Yeah, so I guess the really short simplified version would be by looking at text more so as an image and compressing it as an image, you end up being able to more efficiently have the model use context and basically have visual tokens used that is able to more efficiently represent text than if it's just represented purely as text information itself. And then have models be more efficiently able to run and as if they were running on less context.
Yep.
So Liquid AI LFM2 VL3B, this is a vision language model. As it's kind of self-explanatory, but able to see vision and produce text. Then we have Pokey Research 7B, open source Soda Deep Research Agent. And then Qwen 3 VL 2B 32B. Is that 2B active parameters 32B total, or is that two different models?
No, it's two different models.
Okay.
And the 2B is actually pretty insane. And
yeah, folks are saying that the 2B is insane.
Oh, these are both dense, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it now. Yeah. Compact STEM-tuned multimodal powerhouses, outperforming GPT-5 Mini and Claude 4 Sonnet. That's big if true. If when people actually vibe test it, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe we'll vibe test it on the show. So I had this drop down some screenshot as well from somebody, Harvin Singh. He said a bunch of OCRs model released in the past few weeks. DeepSeek OCR, which we're going to talk about, Olmo released an OCR. I don't have a different entry, but the folks from the Allen Institute released their Olmo OCR second version. There's one called Chandra OCR, also new, around 8 billion parameters. And then also Dots OCR, like Nistan, you just mentioned this one. Obviously, the Qwen VL are general VLMs, but also do OCR. Paddle released one. And then there's just a bunch of new releases in the space. And looks like DeepSeek OCR just for the win. So this is the one we're going to focus on. But just so folks know, we're not going to cover all these, but also a bunch of these are recent releases as well. Shout out to Olmo and Allen Institute. In the big companies and API section, we're going to talk about the movers and shakers of the AI world, the people who spend billions of dollars on infrastructure and invent and reinvent the world every week. We will obviously have a dedicated discussion for the newly announced Chromium-based ChatGPT Atlas browser. It's an agentic AI browser with deep ChatGPT integration. We're going to cover some of the feedback on the vibes, and I also used it as my primary one. Although right now I'm recording from Arc, I cannot let Arc go no matter what, even though that one is a default for mine. We're going to cover some of the shortcomings, some of the stuff that it doesn't do well, some comparisons to the Comet browser, which supposedly after our live stream this Tuesday, I got Yam excited about. So Yam maybe already used Comet from Perplexity and other AI browsers. And also, Microsoft is now having an event right now for their Copilot sessions, whatever. And then they're going to bring actionable, agentable browser into Edge as well. This probably in a few minutes. So we'll take a look at that and then also like bring you the news that whether or not we got 2 agentic browsers this week, and Edge is huge. Edge may not take as much user thing as Chrome, but Edge is like one of the bigger browser install bases out there. So if they're adding an agentic system, like last week we talked about the whole of Windows 11 is adding agentic system, I think it's big. ClaudeCode on the web, folks. ClaudeCode, the you know, if we can say ClaudeCode in the cloud. So you know, every time we transcribe ClaudeCode, it says ClaudeCode, but we can say ClaudeCode. This is what happened this week. You can now chat with this agent not only via your terminal. It can do background stuff for you. You can be on the toilet, which is a highlight of many people coding on the toilet. They have secure sandboxing in there as well. That's very exciting for many folks. Super quick, Meta bans 1-800-GPT on WhatsApp. Meta decided that on the WhatsApp platform, the only AI that's going to be there is Meta's AI. So they are kicking ChatGPT out. If you're using that, move to the app. Again, like I said, Microsoft is about to announce something agentic. And our friend from Google AI Studio launched a new vibe coding. Did you guys see this? Logan launched a new vibe coding platform, and it's pretty good. I actually liked it. We can like live code something live, vibe code something live. It's pretty dope. In this week's Buzz, I think we have 2 updates for you. One of them is fully connected. The conference that we have is coming to Tokyo on October 30th and London November 4th and 5th. If you're a listener from Europe or from Japan or generally Southeast Asia, those 2 conferences are definitely for you. We also, and by we, I mean CoreWeave here, we participated in the release together with the PyTorch library and Stanford called Torch Forge, and we'll briefly cover that as well in a few sentences. Basically, a new supervised fine-tuning and RL fine-tuning library from the folks at PyTorch, which is supposedly a big deal. Vision and video was also hot this week, including a breaking news release from today. Just an update, Sora is about to get pet cameos, so expect Sora to blow up. The folks, Bill Peebles from Sora came out with the news and said, we're approving Sora. For now, you're only able to add cameos of yourself. From very soon, you're going to be able to take your pet and create a cameo for it, take a coffee cup, create a cameo for it. So you'll be able to add character consistency not only to your face. I think it's a big deal. We'll see how viral that becomes because people will do all kinds of characters. I have many, you know, the Halloween skeleton that I did last year, for example, could be a talking skeleton cameo that everybody could use. So we'll see a new social dynamic there. Our friends from Crea released open source 14 billion parameter real-time video model, fine-tuned on top of WAN to 14B. Distilled from WAN. That's pretty cool. Real-time video models. They're not the only one. Rev, do you guys remember Rev, the image editing UI plus model from Christian Contrell and some other folks? Rev announced Rev didn't announce, but they have a video model in there. And like I found it out by surprise, and I looked, and nobody of the people, including their main account, didn't talk about this. And also, I haven't seen anybody post about this, but yeah, they have a video model in there. It looks pretty good. It even has sound. And speaking of sound, it looks like most of the video models for the past, I don't know, 3 months are adding sound as well. And we have a breaking news today from LTX, the Israel company, Tricks. Their model is called LTX. They just open sourced a 4K audio and video generation engine. I believe it's open source. I believe it's open source. This is called LTX 2, and they're claiming it's live. Also real time, nearly real time. So that's crazy. 4K nearly real time. That's crazy, with synchronized audio and video and lip sync, hybrid diffusion transformer stack, blah 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 blah. So like incredible. I think I have some friends in the LTX world. Yeah, maybe you know some folks as well. We should absolutely bring them because they've been killing this. Another company that's been killing this, also Israeli company, is Descartes AI. They released a new lip sync API, but it's real time. So we've seen other companies like Sync and others just basically take a video that or a character, and then you provide audio, and then they kind of like modulate the lips to look like the person is talking according to the audio. LTX released this in real time AI API. So that is very impressive that it's real time. It works for characters that you want to talk to. If Wolfram were here, he would mention Amy and how this would work with Amy, for example. And this, similar to like how Annie works in Grok. So we're definitely going to cover this a little bit. This is the TLDR for this week. I think there's plenty for us here to talk about, folks. Anything huge that I've missed from the list, for listeners or co-hosts here, anything big in the world of AI that happened since last Thursday that is not on this list that you guys want to mention? No? LDJ, go ahead.
I think something that's kind of noteworthy that we'll probably talk about while we talk about DeepSeek OCR is that the day before that paper released, there was also a very similar paper basically doing the same thing from the GLM lab, which is another Chinese open source lab. And I don't think they copied or anything, but this is an interesting common phenomenon actually, where multiple labs will kind of have the same idea and release very similar papers around the same time, because kind of like great minds think alike and deriving prior research to similar outcomes. So I think that'll be interesting to talk about. Yeah,
100%. Oh, I did have another thing. I did a deep dive into a paper this week myself. The paper, I don't know if you guys already saw it or not. And we'll end the TLDR and we'll start the open source, and then I'll mention this actually. But there is a new thing. I did the deep dive. It's very interesting. It's how Alibaba, I think, improved 82% efficiency in serving multiple models on inference. So it's pretty cool. And I dove in because we have an inference service. So I wanted to see if there's anything there. And there is. It's very interesting. Alrighty, folks. It's time for our favorite corner. Let's go to open source AI. Open source AI, let's get it started. Let's get it started. And I will just say, I just saw Mustafa Suleiman from MAI, the rebranded Inflection AI team within Microsoft that Mustafa runs. It's called Microsoft AI. They rebranded to MAI. Just say T-minus 10 minutes for the Microsoft Copilot agentic. We may just tune in, folks. What do you think? Why not? If it's as big, 2 browsers, live streams, two agentic browsers this week. So we may just tune in. It's going to happen in a few minutes. But meanwhile, we're going to start with open source. And I think let's dive right in. The most important and interesting release this week from open source is DeepSeek OCR. DeepSeek, the Chinese whale, the folks that don't hype anything, that just release great releases one after another, the folks that gave us GRPO together with R1, that turned out that R1 itself was less consequential than the GRPO that everybody now uses. Pretty much single-handedly returned the RL world back, or DeepSeek. We talked about DeepSeek every week they release something. This week they released a tiny OCR MOE. A tiny OCR MOE. This is a very, very tiny model. If I'm not mistaken, it's 500 million parameters active only. It's all right, folks. You all looked at this. You all mentioned this. What's special there? Yam, let's start with you, LDJ, and following up with you. What is special about this tiny model, and why DeepSeek innovates continuously?
It's insanely powerful, and it's small and fast. That's the TLDR. It's really, really good, and it's really, really fast and small. Therefore, you can run it at scale on whatever you want to generate tokens. It's OCR. You can just feed, screenshots of stuff, like screenshots of code, screenshots of stuff written, newspapers, books, PDFs, whatever you want. And it is the most powerful for its size that we ever seen, if you take the size into consideration. And people have been doing wild stuff with it already. Even though it was released a couple of days ago, there are wild things that people already did with it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, LJ, I want to hear about this like compression thing that they have going on there.
Yeah, so I didn't get to fully thoroughly read the paper, but from what I understand, you're essentially taking text tokens, representing it as images, then compressing that in the way that you would usually basically create visual tokens out of images in a lot of image processing models. And then doing that ends up being able to actually compress it in a way that's more accurate and basically better compression ratios than what you'd normally get with just tokenization methods of text in a raw way. This actually reminds me a lot of back in the day when I used to work on and train audio models, like 5-6 years ago. There's similar methods with basically something called Tacotron and vocoders like WaveNet and WaveGlow. You'd essentially have a model that turns text into images called mel spectrograms. And without getting too technical, basically an image form of audio. And you basically have text of what you want the AI to say. Let's say I have an AI of Alex, like his voice, and I want him to say something. I want the AI to replicate his voice. And I'm like, hey, my name is Alex, and this is ThursdAI. You turn that into an image, and then you have a second model taking that image and turning it into audio. And that actually turned out, at least for some time, to be more efficient than going directly from text to audio. And this seems like another kind of mirroring of that.
I have some notes on this where I read for some folks. The compression thing is insane.
Yeah.
The compression thing is insane. Like turning text that they see into vision coders, but then be able to like decompress it back with like high accuracy. They like some notes here. Again, not fully like tested. I didn't read the paper fully, but like even at like less than 10x compression, OCR decoding accuracy is 97%. What? Bro, this is like the Silicon Valley middle out algorithm. What the fuck?
Look, it's wild because if you just, it's not intuitive at all that it's even possible to do something like this.
10x compression with 97%.
It's not just the compression. The compression is like, why would it taking a screenshot of code is better than just reading the code?
Yeah.
Like I mean, that's that's one of the things that just got people so surprised by this model.
You know what happened on Thursday? I prepared the notes, and oftentimes like there's other releases that are like dive deep. We only have so much time to dive deep into stuff, so I don't deep into like Atlas, etc. And then we come here and we talk about this, and then my head explodes live like on the thing. This makes no sense as I read this. Like this. Like this is like one of those WTF made.
Look, I don't know if it makes no sense. It basically just points to probably the way we tokenize text is not optimal. Yeah. That's probably what it just points to, that there is a better way to represent text. Okay, look, everyone is suspecting that the way we tokenize text is kind of backwards today. There must be a better way, but it is what it is. It is the way we do it. It is the way it works. We do it because it works best. But I don't know. That's wild.
I want to read the sentence before I get to LJ. And listen, I hear no excitement from you, but I definitely want to hear more excitement from you on this topic.
Oh, no. I was trying to run it. That's why I was,
yeah.
kind of...
I think there's a few Hugging Space things that already run this. So we can take a look. Here's the note that I have that I took lifted of someone, obviously. You could visually encode 1 million tokens into 100K vision token sequence. So that, like for long context models, this is a text. Put the OCR aside. This is a text compression mechanism that supposedly shoves 10x more context into the same context window. What the fuck? LDJ, go ahead. This is insane.
I do think so. Some limitations I think that are worth noting is, so when they say 97% precision or accuracy here, based off what I was able to see in the paper, they don't show traditional language model benchmarks, but they show compression just in terms of basically how accurate is it in actually being able to decode or actually truly see the original text. And that what they say as 97% precision here in the compression itself, when it comes to benchmarks, that might result in more than a 3% drop. That might result in more like only 90% or 80% accuracy in benchmarks, but we don't really know, so we'll have to see that. And also the model that they do it in here is quite small. It's like only roughly around 1B size, 1 billion parameters. And so we'll also have to see how this scales up. But I do think it's really interesting so far. And they say 97% compression accuracy with 10x compression. And I think, like, conservatively speaking, like hopefully they can get at least 2 or 3x compression with like basically 99 or 99.5% accuracy or something. And in that case, like, it would be really good. And because of the quadratic scaling of flops with context, that would be a 3x compression ratio there. It would lead to more than 3x savings of flops. So you might get 5 or 10x savings in flops or more when you're doing really long context inference.
So I just want to make sure that we're like highlighting the right thing here. This is not just a model to like take text and do optical character recognition, the old style. Take images and do optical character recognition. This is way more than this. They're preparing for and specifically highlighting the amount of training data this can generate synthetically from PDFs, etc.
They want all the tokens.
All the tokens.
They just want all of them. Anything you can get. Look, just performance-wise, I don't know if I'm not sure that we said it. You can process like 200,000 pages a day on a single GPU with these things. I mean, these are the numbers. Like single GPU, 200,000 pages. That's pretty crazy. Another thing that's worth mentioning, which had been coming to us through the comments, that's absolutely true. What they do, I mean, basically because they feed images into the model, you have a part of the model which is not causal, which is not predict the next token, but is fully connected attention, which is something that we haven't we kind of moved away from at this moment. And there are people suspecting online that this might be the boost in performance, quote unquote, is not exactly boost, but the unexplained thing that kind of pushes this model beyond what we all anticipated. Anyway, it's extremely interesting and pretty, I don't know, I'm grateful that we even got this release. I'm not sure that everybody else would release something like this because of what you can do with this. Everybody online is going to just run it at scale now for good reason.
I saw librarians get excited. I saw somebody scanning sheets of microfascia. Do you guys know what the microfascia is? Like the tiny compression thing that library stores actual screenshots of like papers or whatever in like very, very, very tiny compressed like microfilm type things. Microfilm is just like a film rotated. Microfascia is like a sheet. So they scan all of this with like precision. Incredible with this model. So very incredible release. Shout out to DeepSeek for open sourcing this. At some point, DeepSeek is going to release something that's again going to change the world. And these like small releases on the way there from the 3.1 terminus and some other like things, they just like lead us there. So we're waiting for DeepSeek as well. But shout out for this release. I think it's Apache 2 as well. Tiny model you can run on anything. Incredible. LDJ, go ahead. You're still muted.
But by the way,
go ahead, Dustin.
There's still some issues with the inference engines, and a lot of the spaces were not working. I don't know if Llama CDP supports it properly, so that's why I've kind of been waiting, because some worked and some didn't quite work correctly. But this probably was like an internal tool or something where they do take in all the training data that they made, because in that sense, if you have to scan trillions, it makes a lot of sense to make a tiny model. because then it might take you 10 years if you just run a whole cluster, if you did large, right? So you do want to get the fastest, most accurate, smallest possible thing. But yeah, it will be very interesting once they apply this to the bigger models. It's pretty exciting for me because now if you want to do computer use, before you had to like kind of parse it, or you had to do a DOM, you have to dump the document object model of the site. But now it's a lot faster to just like take a picture, which is unexpected. It's also like 10 times more compressed. So all that input data, which you have to do before making a decision on an action on like any agentic thing that you build, now can just be an image. That's pretty nice. That just became 10 times faster. Well, if you count the small tiny size, given what it can do, it's almost like we got like 100x or like a few 100x improvement in speed, in capability, because before you had to run full 8 GPUs and it'd be a lot slower too.
Yep.
So, yeah.
LDJ, one last comment here, and let's move on. Open source is only one of the corners here, and we have to talk about others. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it is worth giving an honorable mention to Zifu AI, the creators of GLM, since literally the day before the DeepSeek OCR paper released, they released a very similar paper basically doing the same thing and achieving also pretty good compression ratios. And that paper is called Glyph, if anybody's curious. Glyph, scaling context windows via visual text compression.
All right. Thank you, LDJ. Thank you, folks. All right, we're moving on super quick in the other open source releases this week. We have, let me pull this up super quick. We have a Liquid foundation model VL, 3 billion parameters. We talked about Liquid AI multiple times here. We even had some folks from them on to talk about different releases and what the difference is. And Liquid releases a VL version that supposedly beats other small VL versions, but this is only true to like Tuesday, because even to like yesterday, Qwen released a version of their VL model that's probably beating this. But they have average score here for multiple multimodal benchmarks: MM*, Blink, MM*Bench, OCR Bench, Pope, and Real World QA. And they claim SOTA this week with their LFM 3 billion parameters, ultra compact vision language model. Unlike the OCR one, this is like a generative agent vision model, 11 language multimodal multilingual performance, and strong performance on multimodal tasks. LFM2 delivers 51% on MM if eval and 71% of real world QA, which is all both multimodal benchmarks. And blah, 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 languages. What can we say? 3 billion parameters, smaller than most competitive VLMs. This is only true because this happened this week, but we can skip forward to the Qwen stuff because I think the Qwen stuff is kind of in this category, is also more interesting. They compare themselves to the previous Qwen VL, Qwen 2.5 VL. We now have a tiny Qwen 3 VL. Then we have Poke Research releasing a state-of-the-art, well, compared to other open source, deep research agent. It's fairly impressive, the HLE results that they have here for like around 15%, or like it's really hard to count here, but like I think around 15 to 17% on humanities last exam. From Poke Research, it's a 7 billion parameter open source state-of-the-art deep research, on par with or ahead of closed models the same size. Shout out to PokeAI. I don't believe we covered any models from PokeAI so far, so shout out to them for this release. They have a multi-threaded reasoning scaffold, and the combined RLAF, our reinforcement learning with AI feedback, which is a technique we discussed on the show previously. So let's see what else we can talk to you about this. Open Sora, robust reasoning scaffold, recovery verification, automatically reruns and corrects failed tool calls and performs self-verification loops, reducing error cascades and boosting final answer reliability. So this is like a model that also does a harness type model-y stuff. Interesting. And yeah, this is Poke Research. And now let's get to the breaking news from yesterday. Our friends from Alibaba Qwen, Tongyi Lab, released 2 new models. Nistan would love to hear from you about this, because like this is the small one is crazy. Absolutely. Qwen 3VL 2 billion parameter and Qwen 3VL 32 billion parameter. Folks, I was confused this week because I looked at this news and I didn't look at the release sizes. And I was like, didn't we already talk about Qwen VL last week? Is this really new? Sometimes what happens is we cover things so early that people only get to the things we cover after we cover. So I almost skipped this release entirely, didn't even add this to the show notes, because like we covered Qwen VL, so what's new?
Unknown caller.
Sorry guys, getting a call. So I was like, okay, what's new? I have no idea. And no, these are new sizes. These are new sizes for these models, and there's something. Listen, you wanna cover some of the releases here? I saw like multiple folks react to the 2 billion parameter one, that it's kind of like crazy.
Yeah, why people are excited about this is that Qwen usually is pretty accurate with their benchmarks, and they put a lot of benchmarks. Like some of them do seem optimistic, but usually they are pretty right on. So the reason that people got excited is because they have a track record of putting correct benchmarks, and when it compares this well with the Sonnet 4, which can have some issues with OCR, and we're not comparing Sonnet 4.5, but that's fine. When you start to get something that's very, very good or comparable to Sonnet 4, and that you can run on your phone, and it's performing that well, that's pretty exciting. And the Qwen models are really easy to work with. I mean, most tutorials and stuff that you're going to see in Google Colabs are with Qwen models. So the other part of the reason why people are excited about this is because they can modify them to also do what they're to do what you want. You can train these models pretty easily too, but they also have crazy performance to boot. So the 2B model, which you should be able to run on less than 2 gigs of RAM, this is now something you can run even on a 4 or 5-year-old iPhone, and you are getting performance comparable to GPT-5 Mini. So it's like putting the image on GPT-5, and it will recognize it pretty quickly. And I tried it. I gave it some hard tasks, like the terminal and things, and the 2B was still hallucinating. Like it would try to interpret stuff as to what it meant, but it did almost get all of it. And then when I asked it to like repeat verbatim what it said, it did actually do that. And so that was a good experience for me. Now the more exciting thing, which nobody has really tried, and we're probably going to post about this week, is that these can do video. And video is very expensive to process. So this is why you need as small as possible and as high quality as possible of a model to be able to actually input video properly, or for it to just like look at you throughout the day and kind of figure out what's going on. Before, you couldn't really do this unless you just like bought the API from Google, but now you can. And this is something that we haven't tried, and we don't know how well it works, but it'll probably be good. They
have a bunch of video benchmarks like MVBench, and it looks like even the 4B model is like comparable to some of the other ones. But absolutely, if you look at this chart, they are showing in red the state of the art on this benchmark. And Qwen VL32B Instruct, the 32 billion parameter one, that you can also run. Most M4 Max or M3 Max can run the 32B one for sure. They have most of the benchmarks beating Claude Sonnet 4 and GPT-5 Mini. Not to mention the previous 72 billion parameter Qwen 2.5 VL, right? So we're always seeing these step function jumps with Qwen, where the previous bigger model is outperformed with a newer model while also getting half of the parameters in place. So we're getting like a significant jump in most benches, besides maybe OCR bench, which surprisingly the Qwen 3 VL 8 billion parameters is a little better, but it's like very, very, very close. Everything else is absolutely crushing, including the video stuff. One comment about video, super quick, before we move on. Do you guys know that ChatGPT can watch video? Do you guys know this? No? I posted about
natively?
Bro!
Since when?
I don't know since when, but like I posted about this and Greg buried it. I was like, this is the type of tweet that blows the fuck up because people don't know about this thing. I found somebody that saw that there's only one way to get it done. You cannot upload the videos. MP4 is locked. But actually, you know what? I'll pull up my chat here. Folks, we're a little bit out of the open source now. We're moving towards some exciting stuff. I'll pull up my chat here. If I be able to find this. Basically, there is a trick that I'll tell you about this trick later of how to get native ChatGPT understanding of video. It's a trick that they don't want you to know, but we know.
Are you sure it's
Bro,
native?
100% sure that's native. 100%. And I know how. I'll tell you how. Because I used the same video on Google Gemini, and I used it on Grok, and Grok is supposedly multimodal native, but it's not really, just like watches frames. It was a video of me and my son. Actually, I probably should just find it and play the video, right? Like you guys talk about this. It was something. Let me go find this super quick because like why not? Native video on ChatGPT, like they just don't release this yet. Like it's an unreleased feature. Hopefully I don't have embarrassing chats in there. ChatGPT, let's go. In the browser, ChatGPT is gonna load my stuff, and I need to remember what it was. I think it was this. Let's see. Come on, load. Is ChatGPT having issues? I don't know why it didn't load even. Oh, okay. No, this is not it. This is my agent. We're going to get to talk about Atlas. One of the downsides of Atlas is that like all searches now, everything you do in the browser is also a ChatGPT chat. So finding specific chats became more difficult. Here, this one. Oh, this one. Yeah, I found it. Okay. All right. Do you guys see a video embedded in the chat? You guys don't see anything. Okay. Now you see. This is a ChatGPT tab that I have here. How do I? Okay. This is a ChatGPT tab. There's a video here. There's a video of my kids. I don't like putting my kids on ThursdAI, but you guys know I have them and they're AI native. So I'm gonna play this without any like faces in the frame, and hopefully you guys can hear. You won't be able to hear this, but like you should be able to hear this. So let me find a way for you to hear this as well. Super quick. I'll open this here.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but it'd probably be somewhat expensive for them to offer.
Alex, we believe you. It's a real video. We believe you. Just how you do it, man.
I want to highlight why. Like I'm sure it's multimodal. There's a video of my son learning phonics with an iOS app, and the way he learns, like he watches an iPad video that explains to him how to read, and he spells it out. ChatGPT knew he didn't spell it correctly. Like ChatGPT listened to the audio and understood he's not spelling this correctly. You cannot do this with frames. So whatever, Nista, we just talked about Qwen VL, for example, the video processing. I don't think that they have a multimodal video processing, for example. I don't think that Qwen VL listens to the audio in the video. Like I'm pretty sure it's all frames. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong. But like I don't know. Like they have the Omni model that's like Omni, but like the Qwen VL model doesn't process like sound into it. Reka Flash did. You guys remember we talked about multimodal things. So again, my son is reading something and pronounces it incorrectly. And I told him how to pronounce this a little bit correctly. ChatGPT understood the pronunciations and then said the voice behind the frame, that's probably your voice, Alex, told the kid to do this and that and this and that. I was like, wait a second. The trick is there's only one way to do this, as far as I know, probably other ways. You can share into the ChatGPT app via the iOS, if you have iOS share feature, but you cannot select a video from the dropdown, the plus dropdown, because they restrict it to images. But apparently, if you send the video to yourself on like WhatsApp and then share this video from outside of WhatsApp, ChatGPT shows up at the the shareable location apps.
That's new. It wasn't there before.
So now you can send you can send a video from WhatsApp into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will understand the video fully, natively, multimodally. Blew my mind. I really needed this like a couple of times. I didn't like know how. I sent the same video to Gemini, which we know Gemini is multimodal, and like Gemini did not do as good a job as this. So I'm very, very excited about this. LDJ, go ahead.
Yeah, quick clarification on Qwen. I just double checked, and the Qwen 3 Omni 30B A3B, it can do
Omni does.
input.
Yeah, Omni does audio input, and
Yeah.
also I believe video input, but I'm not sure that the video input includes audio. If you understand what I'm saying.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah.
Yes. Yam is trying it right now. Do you want to record the video? You want to record the video of us and share it to ChatGPT? And
I'm not sure that I have. I'm telling you, I'm not sure that I have this option. That's why I'm saying it's you and because.
Yeah, but definitely from inside WhatsApp. All right, folks, we have to move on to other news. But like while Yam, you can test this out if you want to. We will move on to other news. We got some news from Microsoft AI and their releases. I didn't see anything like super exciting there. Not that I expected, but yeah, let's take a look. Mustafa Suleimani posted. Where's this? Blah blah blah. Okay, Microsoft Edge. So before we get to the actual Atlas point of the story, Microsoft announced Copilot mode for the Edge that turns Edge into AI agentic browser. Edge can now navigate pages for you with actions, manage tabs, and access browser history. Let's take a look. So basically, Microsoft is like, why click things yourself when you can have Copilot mode in Edge, and Edge will do some stuff for you. This is not new for us, but it's very interesting to see this coming to one of the bigger browser in the browser wars. Copilot, I think, is still powered by GPT-5, I believe. I don't use Copilot, to be very honest with you. Like, I try it when new things come out, but like I stick to ChatGPT. And we have a very flashy video that's not super interesting, but basically they have a Copilot like browse and click things, which is now the state of the art in browsers. And the only one that doesn't do this is Chrome. So shout out to Copilot. They also have right now. Should we try it? Can we try it? Oh, okay. Microsoft Windows, Edge, and Mac. Folks, we're going to try this live on real time. Do you guys have, we're going to try to download Edge. We will download Edge. We're going to download one browser, agentic browser, from another agentic browser. So this Copilot mode in Edge, once we get there, we will try it. But for now, I think the bigger release, I think it's bigger. ChatGPT Atlas release. We already had a 2-hour stream this week. So for those of you who are coming back, this may be something repetitive, but we've used this browser so far as well. This week, OpenAI stepped into the browser war after 2 weeks ago stepping into. Yam, what are you showing us? That it works? Yam, confirmation?
You are right. You are right. But again, you can't just share from the iPhone. You have to, exactly like you said, you need to send the video yourself, then go like click on it and like select in the WhatsApp selection and then share, and only there you can see ChatGPT. And let's see if I have it on the web, if I actually have a video player.
You have the video player probably on the web, but only if you share through other means. Yeah, so native.
Absolutely, yeah, it's probably native. We know that they absolutely have a native video input to ChatGPT because advanced voice mode work natively with video. You heard it first. I heard it first time here. Go try it. It actually works.
And it's pretty cool. It really is like actual multimodal understanding of video. All right, so going back to the browser wars, etc. Like something very, very exciting to me.
Well, I can also confirm. Qwen 3VL does not do audio in, only the model one. I just tested that, so doesn't do audio.
This is the Copilot fall release. Before, again, ChatGPT Atlas, Copilot mode in Edge. They have a new clippy thing called Miko. This is the new assistant. They have memory built in there, which is pretty cool. And proactive actions. I'm interested about what is proactive actions. And then some other stuff. And connectors. So we'll maybe we should cover this like fully at some point. I don't know, like who uses Edge. Maybe we can use Edge now that we download it and try it.
Remember 2 years ago when a lot of us were using Edge and I kept posting stuff how like I would open like 3 different side panels on it, and I would have I forgot what model I would have on one side.
GPT-4. This is the model you would have. Like at some point, Edge was the only place to get GPT-4 before it was released. GPT-4 with Vision, for example.
Bing was a good Bing. It was
a good Bing.
I used Bing a lot. It's funny to think about it today, but I used Bing a lot. That was the only one with internet access. Absolutely, yeah.
That was before they hired Mustafa, and then nobody used it anymore. It's still there, but it's kind of interesting because we all thought they were going to dominate at that point. It was the only thing that could was actually aware of what set you were on too. So yeah,
I'm installing Bing right now, and it asks me for my permissions.
Just a word about Copilot. I'm not so many different things are called Copilot at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure what exactly is, like you're saying. It added to Copilot, and then it added to Edge and native on Windows. And you have the IDE plugin called Copilot and the agent called Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and you have the chat completion in the I don't know, in VS Code called Copilot. So many things are just called Copilot, and getting pretty. Oh, there is a lot Windows native chat client called Copilot, and I don't know. It kind of feels like anything that is branded Copilot is like trying to strap AI onto a different thing.
Yes.
And I'm not entirely sure what are we trying to do here. Like,
I think Copilot generally
release,
is Microsoft's Microsoft's AI. Everything is Copilot, and now they have this we didn't get to Atlas yet. We're just on the Microsoft release that happened today, folks. This is breaking news. They have this a button that says turn Copilot mode on. I turned it on, and congrats, it's on. See what you've unlocked. It says,
if I may, I just remembered. For anyone confused, Copilot on Office 365 is not the same as Copilot on Windows. It's a completely different thing. Okay, just that's why it's confusing. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely different experience. It's a completely different thing. And now we have Copilot on Edge, which we are not sure is completely different thing or not yet.
This is Copilot mode. So Copilot in Edge was a side panel for a while. This one now supposedly browse hands-free with your voice. Talk to Copilot to navigate, highlight, and scroll the web. Copilot can also discuss the page content with you. To get started, open a chat with Copilot, click the mic icon. Okay. And then find what you need across tab faster, and you're all set. Okay. So supposedly we now can say, go to uber.com and find cheap Ubers to the Denver airport. I'm not logged in, so we'll see
if it summarizes pages or if it actually takes them all in context. So
this didn't really work.
Paper, that doesn't really. Is it aware of the site it's on? Like, can you open any arcs of paper, anything, and can you tell it?
That's a good test. And click on the PDF.
It used to do that before.
Open the PDF. Like, you want to see a PDF. Like, see.
Oh, I have a notification about settings. Hold on. Copilot use the current web page. Open tabs in your browsing history to help go to settings. I have settings. Context clues. Listen, this is the answer to you. Copilot may give better answer based on the current web page. Give it access, and then video transcript. Copilot may give video highlights with time-based video transcript. Sure. Okay. I get it. Give it access. Here's the summary. He gave you a summary of the tab. But I wanted to do actions, and I'm not sure how to get it to do actions, folks. This is the most important thing for me is the Copilot mode, and it says you are in Copilot mode. Great, but how to have it do? This is so weird. On the page, the blog page that looks like a blog page that discusses the features. There's toggles on the web page that toggle things in my browser. Dude, the integration between Microsoft's release in web and the browser, this is just crazy. But okay, you turn actions in Edge preview. Okay. They have highly experimental feature. Actions and age preview feature may misinterpret your intentions, make significant mistakes, or be deceived by malicious structures hidden in web pages. This is the prompt injection thing that is very, very scary to folks. Always monitor its behavior closely. Understood how your data is used. This is a preview feature. I understand and want to proceed. All right, cool. So now we can ask it to go to like Uber. What is Journeys? Yeah, this is also interesting. Okay, let's have a new chat and say, hey, go to X and go to bookmarks. Nothing is happening. Like, do I need to enable this like agent mode? Otherwise, nothing is happening, folks. I don't know. I'm very close to giving it up and going to to tell you about Atlas. But they have image summary, image generation. So they have a lot of things here, but I don't get the Copilot mode at all. This is a little bit confusing. Right. I think this is enough for Microsoft. Yeah, folks are saying Microsoft. But I think many people have Edge installed and they will try this, like with the Windows ones. So we did get 2 agentic browsers this week. Only this one I wasn't able to get the agentic features. I'm sure they're there. Like literally they haven't. I accepted the thing. I'm sure they're there. But I'm not sure why it doesn't click. But let's talk about Atlas. ChatGPT released a new browser this week. Also, this is the first step of ChatGPT into the browser wars. It looks like this. This is the new tab, and you can ask it to do some stuff. And there's a draft ThursdAI news recap feature that I already used. There's a bunch of other things. It's ChatGPT in the browser. It's not just Chromium fork with ChatGPT slapped on. It really is a deep native integration with your profile on the top right, which is your ChatGPT profile. One thing I've noticed that we didn't notice during the live stream, folks, there's this like accent color thing. And now this is the accent color of my ChatGPT. So if I do this like purple and I go to ChatGPT, ChatGPT is going to be purple. The iOS app is going to be purple. Everything's going to be purple. And you can change it back to like yellow, whatever. So now this is like the accent color for all of your ChatGPT. Another way to customize. Not that it matters. Also, folks were complaining online that this is just a Chromium fork. No. This is a completely different menu than even Edge. I think Edge has the same menu as, yeah. If you guys see this with the zoom and whatever, this is the standard Chromium menu. New tab, new window, blah, 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 favorites, like the drop downs and more settings. This is the standard menu. So if you see a blank like Chromium fork, you'll see the same menu everywhere. New tab, new private tab, then zoom. I remember the browser we built had exactly the same menu. ChatGPT rebuilt the menu with SwiftUI native, and the settings panel is completely new. This thing in the settings panel, we talked about this, folks. They added a virality feature within ChatGPT Atlas that shows when you joined OpenAI as an account, not ChatGPT specifically, even though it says ChatGPT, because most people joined OpenAI via ChatGPT. I joined 1,824 days ago. 1,824 days ago. 1,824 days in years is 4.99 years, almost 5 years ago. So I joined in June 2020. If any of our listeners, besides Joe from AI Thinkers, if any of our listeners joined before me, definitely post your score as well. So Atlas is, I think, the only way right now to know when you actually joined OpenAI. What does Atlas do? Besides having ChatGPT fully integrated into Atlas, which is you get, the whole ChatGPT sidebar is in here on every place. So the new chat, search, your library of images, GPTs, custom, your projects, your chats, everything is here. Besides this, you have context for every new tab with the new site, the Ask GPT feature. One thing that I didn't know during the live stream is that command dot opens up the site pane. So you can shortcut it. Command dot. And it's really, really useful. And there's no way in any of the browser, any of the settings that I looked to actually know this. There's no way. The only way I knew this is a thread from one of the folks on ChatGPT Atlas that said, "Hey, we need to build up a page, but for now, this opens the site pane." Another shortcut is Command Shift A to search through tabs. So if get to know Microsoft, you can search and go to the tab. Claude, for example, you just go to the tab. It's like searches and goes active tabs, just like a browser feature. But again, you have this Ask ChatGPT mode on the side, and it has context access to the current tab. Only one tab, by the way, again, comparing it to, for example, Comet or even Dia from the browser company. ChatGPT for now only has access to one tab, and you cannot like give it context for other tabs. It's annoying as heck, and it's really like messing with my ability to like do cross multi-page research, which I do often for you guys here on ThursdAI. What else do we have in ChatGPT Atlas that's super, super cool? We have like obviously summarized feature and yes, we have the agent mode. I think the agent mode is like the number one important thing besides the features. There's a bunch of features that are agentic. Oh no, one last feature before we get to agent mode. It has this like cursory thing where you every text area that you type, every like docs new what the hell is this? Doc new? Isn't that supposed to give me that doc new? Okay, so every type you type something in any type of typable thing. Once you select it, you have this little ChatGPT thing. Make this make sense. A ChatGPT bubble pops up, and you can do ChatGPT action on the selected text, which is I haven't seen this in any other browser. It's novel. I've seen this in Chrome extensions. And here's an example. I typed in like complete bullshit, SDF, blah, 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 and I told it, hey, clean this up. And ChatGPT made the poem out of all of this bullshit. It's really funny. It's really funny. So, and then you can like use this to replace the text, for example. It's really funny because Google Docs also has a feature to do this natively, so you can have AI on top of AI. But this, I think they call this cursor bubble, whatever. If you guys remember exactly what it's called, this is another feature of ChatGPT that I haven't seen anywhere else. However, I think the most important feature of ChatGPT, while we add Qwen here, our friend Qwen, what's up, Qwen? We're gonna get to talk about some stuff very, very soon. The other exciting feature is the agent mode. Agent mode is the agentic ability of ChatGPT to go and do stuff on your behalf, and as far as if you guys remember Operator in ChatGPT native interface that became ChatGPT Agent, this is now built into the browser with the main difference that Agent has access to the web pages that you have access to, and blocking it is now impossible. So, for example, if ChatGPT Agent would use a a secure environment, and then you log into that secure environment, Chrome can block access to those actions. Now ChatGPT is running within your browser. This is your browser. You're logged into stuff that you're logged in. It has a security feature that shows that you can run this agent with login sessions or without. So like basically give it like an incognito mode. I had this yesterday. I had this mode and I like almost live streamed it. Do a compliance training for me. And for the 5 hours that I tried, it completed the compliance training. The compliance training is hard, specifically that platform called Easy Llama. It has not only like, hey, watch a video, here's a few questions. It has questions in different formats. It has quizzes. It has multiple visual things that you need to complete. It has drag and drop interfaces where like, yeah, drag this Plaid scenario to the thing. And it has like a bunch of stuff like this. And ChatGPT, after 5 hours, 5 or something, after 3 stops, that I had to tell it to continue, and it said, I am continuing, and I told it, no, you're not, because I can see that you're not doing this. After a few gaslighting moments, it did complete. I had to restart the chat for once, but I was very, very impressed because this is stumbling through this, pressing buttons, not listening to the audio, because a lot of it is watching a video and listening to the audio that they're saying. So ChatGPT Agent cannot do this yet. It still was able to complete a compliance training for me, which I need to now take again, because obviously I'm not compliant if I use an agent to finish this for me. But I was very, very impressed. So the agent mode is something. It needs supervision still. It is dangerous because of injection problems, but it is absolutely something. Folks, have you tried the Atlas browser? Will you be trying the Atlas browser? What are your thoughts? What are your general reaction to the world of
people on Windows and Linux would like to have a chance as well. I'm just saying that if anybody listens and can influence this, there are many of your users are eagerly waiting to try
ChatGPT
this as well.
Atlas was released only to macOS. It's a research preview, and they're working on other platforms. There's no iOS equivalent, no Android, definitely no Windows, and no Linux. Who here did try it? Probably not Nissan.
I tried to try it, but
Tell us, security is your concern?
yeah. Also, I don't really need it because any other agentic thing I do with Claude or GLM, it just fires up Chromium -- headless. It grabs a DOM, it takes pictures, has full control of Linux already. So I don't. There's nothing I can do that I can't already do. But OpenAI does make a nicer interface. I mean, I've tried to build a browser before too, and the Chrome build takes like 90 gigs of space on your thing to do like a modern Chromium compile, and that's just hard drive space. It can take like 2 hours, even on like on an M2 Ultra. So to make a good browser, it's actually pretty hard, and I do think OpenAI have done a pretty good job rebuilding Chromium in that sense. So I did want to test all of that. But
I just want to say on this topic, anyone listening, that I tried this week the Chrome Web Dev MCP, and it surprisingly is able to control whatever you want in the browser. I thought it's just going to be a bunch of tools to monitor websites or to check for, I don't know, test some performance, but no, it can absolutely control the entire browser agentically, and it's really powerful. You just install it in ClaudeCode, Codex, whatever client that you run, and that's it. It can control Google Chrome on the same computer. You see the browser in front of your eyes doing whatever, clicking stuff and doing stuff. That's a good alternative. That's what I'm using at the moment, and I would love to try the other options.
Wait! I didn't know this was out. This was out a month ago. This was out 20th. Is this what
out
they're
a month
using?
ago? Look. It's out a month ago, and I thought just like you, okay, it's a nice tool for benchmarking websites and so on. It's not going to control the entire browser, but it is.
Is this what they're using?
I used it to read archive papers. Seriously, I just went to chat with ClaudeCode, and told it to go search for the paper, and it went, and I saw the browser open, and it went to find the paper I'm talking about, and it was really, really cool. It's really cool. It's one command just to install, like MCP add Google Chrome Web Dev, whatever the MCP is named, and that's it.
So I will try to bring back the discussion into Atlas. I will just say, though, we should talk about the alternative ways of controlling the internet. We're going to chat with Paul Klein in a moment to talk about Browserbase and the Director and some other things that they released. MCP is another way to install. All of these, I'll gently turn back to the next topic in discussion. All of these have risks, different levels of risks. One of the things that we know about the agentic browsers is that if browsers have malicious instructions in them and the model is not sufficiently trained to detect malicious instructions, I think Brave, also a browser, not agentic, but also AI browser, released a security research into multiple browsers just failing context injection attacks. Simon Wilson has an outline 3 years ago, content injection as a thing for agentic browsing features. And we had this week the CISO, the Chief Security Officer from ChatGPT, Information Security Officer, Dane. He talked at length, Crypsis. He talked at length about their new security measures in the browser. This is like the most transparent the company has been about mitigating this type of attack. Very, very cool. Long post. I definitely recommend folks. I'll add this to the show notes. Here's some of the stuff that they are doing for this prevention. They're saying, we prioritize rapid response systems to help you quickly identify block attacks campaigns as we become aware of them. This is very, very important because ChatGPT is also a ecosystem, and now if they detect multiple attacks in the browser, they can like block it for every other user, whereas Chromium, for example, can't. They also they invest in security teams, research to improve robustness of the models, design Atlas to give you controls to help protect yourself. This is one of the main features that like I want to make you guys aware in Atlas as well. Atlas has the agent mode. Once you run agent mode, it gives you this option. let me zoom in here. It leaves you the option to stay logged in. ChatGPT works alongside you using your logged in account. So if you're logged into X or Gmail or whatever, it will have access to the same cookies. Or they will basically give your incognito browser experience to the agent logged out. So like if you want to do some research but you don't want you to be there, it will browse with you logged out. So this is one of the features that they have. And also this thing, what I didn't know about, they said when agent is operating in sensitive sites, we have also implemented a quote watch mode that alerts you to the sensitive nature of the site and requires you to have the tab active to watch the agent do its work. The cool thing about agents is that you can run something in a background tab and it will do things for you, and you don't have to watch it, and you can wait. So this is what I did. So this watch mode is requiring you to actually watch the thing execute on your behalf. Now, with all this said, and hopefully this will come live, some of the browser security implications are very interesting. And as Yam said, and as I said, there's a few ways to control browser. ChatGPT is controlling the browser on my system, but there's also other agents and other things. Maybe you want Claude to use its OS world score of like 67 that Sonnet was released with, and many of them are using tools, and one of those tools is Browserbase, and we have the Browserbase guy, Paul, with us. What's up, Paul Klein? How are you doing?
What's up, guys? Hey, sorry, I'm on my way to the browser right now, so I call from the Uber, but super exciting week in the world of browsers, so happy to chat about it.
Yes, so we're kind of like, I'm turning the conversation to you. Hopefully we'll hear you coming through with network reception as possible. You guys launched something also today, and the thing that I wanted to call you for is because I think that you guys innovated something that I was very, very excited about. The integration with 1Password and authentication on my behalf as a user control thing. I have never seen this before. I'm a user of 1Password for the last, I think, maybe 15 years, and I use it to log in as me. And I was always saying that, hey, if I have an agent, it should either have access to the tools that I'm logged in as, or it should ask me access to my password in a secure way without like me giving away the password. So I saw you guys implement this. Would love for you to talk about what you guys launched this week and this integration both, and how you guys see authentication for agents in the browser world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we think about browser automation in two ways. There's browser in chat or chat in the browser, right? And I think with Atlas and Comet and Dia, you're seeing a lot more of the chat in the browser, where someone's giving you a browser and you're chatting with AI. Now, we kind of tend to see this more with like traditional AI agents, where you have a browser and a chat, where you're having your AI agent chatting with it within a website or some SaaS, and it's deploying or talking to a browser running in the background in the cloud or something like that. And regardless of both of these things, you need to let your AI authenticate as you. When you're offering someone a local browser experience, it's much easier, right? Because it's running on your computer, it's next to you, and you're able to kind of use the same IP address as the person, and keep things a little bit more safer there. But what happens there in the kind of browser and chat experiences is that there's no background browsing. As soon as you close the laptop, all of a sudden your workflows stop. And we've seen more of these kind of AI browser companies start to offer some ideas of background browsing. But then you run into what you need, which is the delegated authentication. And at Browserbase, we think a lot about cloud browsing, background browsing, and really background browsing powers a lot of this browser in chat type of experience that I talked about earlier. And what our partnership with 1Password was, hey, you have your 1Password setup, which is a vault running on your local machine. And your browser locally can talk to it, right? You never want your passwords to be stored in the cloud. But how do you enable a cloud browser to access your password securely? And with 1Password, what we did was we found a way that we could have a vault running in the cloud environment, a vault running locally, and using the extension establishes connection from the cloud browser to your local vault, and can request access to it. So when you use a cloud browser with one survey, you're able to say, your agent, hey, give me access to this credential, pop on your screen on your local machine saying your browser wants access to this credential. It's almost like the cloud browser is reaching into your local device, asking for permission to the password, using it in the cloud browser, and then proceeding forward. This is a cool paradigm because it means that if you have access to 1Password on your phone or on your laptop or your desktop or whatever device you're on, wherever your AI agent is, it will be able to request access to your resources. And it's a paradigm that's a lot more flexible. If your AI agent only has access to one machine, it's very limited to that machine. But if your AI agent can access the services and tools you have on all of your machines, it might get a lot more done.
Yeah. So I have to say, and listen, go after me. I have to say that as a long time user of 1Password, I was delighted to see this. It requires the nightly install of the 1Password currently. It's not baked into the main release yet. There's some UI issues, whatever, but it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, the agent that I run on my behalf somewhere in the background has access to the exact same like password that I needed to get access to, and I'm in control of what I give it or don't give it to. When something runs on Atlas, for example, the only control I have is have access to all of my login sessions or none. And on this way, I can just like log in on a specific thing. It's not perfect yet, Paul. I gave you some feedback as well. Like it didn't like I wasn't successful to log into X, but I was successful to log into Substack, for example. And doing browser automations with my cookies, with my passwords, where I'm in control, I wanted to bring you on to just like highlight how important this I think is for the agent world. Because many talk about agents and auth and whatever. No, that's not me. That's like the I keep talking about the web is human shaped. The web is human shaped. It's not yet agent shaped. Like all the auth and like the different integrations, they will come eventually for sure. But I don't want my agent to auth via an application. I want it to click buttons because buttons expose different things that the API expose. How do you think about this auth versus like a personal
Alex,
login thing?
I'll add one more thing here, which is that I believe that with all the prompt injection stuff that you have happening, there is no way you should let a browser, you touch your regular Chrome profile, all of your cookies, all your information, you should be giving it access step by step. You should be delegating. You should be saying, do this, do that, until we figure out this prompt injection stuff. I think it's too early to let AI completely control your local browser, which is essentially like coming into your house and living in your house. You should be letting your AI use certain things at certain times based on your permissions. And the way we did that with 1Password is the right way. However, I think like you see that in Atlas with the private mode, that seems like it's the right direction. If you're gonna have AI control your browser, it needs to earn the right to different credentials and access. You can't give it the master keys on the first run.
I think the master keys example is a great one, and I think that like it's also possible, likely with an actual local browser. They just didn't implement this. Like instead of showing me 1Password, hey control, they probably show me like, hey, would you want to give access to this browser? Kind of like Cursor in the beginning before YOLO mode was asking you for everything. Can I run this command? Can I run this command? Now most of the people that I know run Cursor on full YOLO mode, like do whatever, and they trust that they implemented like the safeguards. So I think like the browser will get to that point. But yeah, you're right, Paul. Like to some extent, Atlas kind of came in and asked people to give master keys permission to the whole suite of like accesses. And the injection attacks that we saw was like, hey, instead of summarizing this web page like the person asked you to, go into their Gmail, open this like the first email, copy the URL, and then go to this website and send me this email. And this is the prompt injection that people saw, 100%. Paul, you also launched something today. I want to give you an option to talk about Director because I think it's like super, super cool.
Yeah, of course. And maybe a last note on that, like the prompt injection attacks in browsers are much more dangerous than in an IDE. So I'm a little concerned, like, I don't think we should, like, YOLO mode is great. I use YOLO mode in Cursor. I'm not sure if we're ready for YOLO mode in the browsers because the consequences are much higher. So that's just something that's been on my mind. I don't know how we're going to solve this prompt injection stuff yet, but I'm excited. I know we will solve it, or somebody will solve it over time. But we launched this thing called Director, and Director.ai really takes the browser and chat approach a little bit further. And it kind of came from this world where, yeah, if you pull it up, it'd be amazing. When it came to this world, which is like, we know people want to prompt to automate a browser, but they don't necessarily want to talk to an agent each time. They may want to automate a specific task. So when you put in a task like find me the #1 post on Product Hunt or something like that, you may want to do that every single day. There's a type of task that you are going to run very regularly. And to build automation to do that task regularly, it's very challenging. So Director is an agent builder that uses the frameworks we offer, Stagehand, and our infrastructure we offer, Browserbase, to really allow you to take a prompt, accomplish some routine web task, and then export that to be a repetitive script that you can run. It doesn't actually build you an agent. It's not something you talk to each time. It actually outputs software. And that's what's super special about Director. It kind of reminds me of V0. If you use V0 for building websites, you use Director for building web automations.
Yeah, and I use Director, and like it integrates with 1Password as well, so it allows you to like plug into that infrastructure of like accepting. Here's Director like navigating to Hacker News and getting the data of the page. It kind of looks like, you know, the agent that I saw, like thought, etc. But like the artifacts, I think, Paul, is what you're referring to, right? Like it gives you an actual script to then, after it did the things, it basically record mode for agents to give me a controllable script afterwards, and not just like an agentic thing that can get lost, right?
Yeah, the special sauce that people are missing, you can also deploy that script right there in the UI. So not only are we going to generate the script for you, but if you click that deploy button, you may have to sign in.
Yeah.
You click that deploy button, and it will actually go ahead and run that on a schedule for you, or let you call that with an API eventually. So we feel like this will be a one-stop shop for people who are. We built this product because I kept getting people kept hitting me up, like dentists were calling me saying, "Hey, how do I use Browserbase to automate something?" So we built Director for these semi-technical people who are AI curious and want to automate and really want to make it a one-stop shop for everything they're doing.
So a question super quick before I let you go. I know you're on your way as well. So if I do use the one password integration into the browser as part of my script, every time it will hit like login as Hacker News as me, like I'll get a prompt that's saying, "Hey, your agent is trying to log in as you. Would you approve this?" Is it happens every time?
Yeah, for right now, you're approving every time, but we're also going to offer an option we're working with the 1Password team, where you could say, like, it's kind of like the cookie banner, like, or like login, keep me signed in type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, accept it, or like, yes, always accept it. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to offer very, very soon. But right now, we want to, once again, we try and bias as an infrastructure provider. We want to be as secure as possible in the beginning, give you a kind of teaser of what's happening. And then over time, as we work with the community, see what's best, see what people like, move in the direction that people feel comfortable.
I think Nissen had a follow-up question before we let you go, Paul.
Yeah, as someone that likes vibe coding on their phone, Paul, you mentioned, so there's a cloud browser and there's a local browser. Is there a way, like for you right now, if you have an agent running right now in the background, could you approve it with 1Password from your phone now? I don't think I could because my phone's always in lockdown mode and it would just like log me out. But is that functionality there with Browserbase, or is it coming? Or
so if you're asking about the 1Password integration we have with Director, no, we don't have mobile support for 1Password yet. We have to do a big mobile app update with them. It's a longer process. It's coming soon. If you're asking, can I use my phone to control a cloud browser? The answer is yes. Director.ai works on mobile too, and it's pretty fun. Like you can actually dispatch a browser from your phone to go do some tasks. And I think that like the interfaces we use to interact with AI are changing. And I always tell people, Browserbase for now, we're going to be in good shape until Neuralink comes out and we're just talking to each other's brains. We might not even need software anymore. We might not need browsers, but until that happens, I think the company's going to be in a pretty good spot.
Righty. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, by the way, I just tried it in the mobile view. I asked it to look up a whole bunch of used stuff on Kijiji and Craigslist. It's actually doing a pretty good job. Like it knows roughly where I am. It found the prices. It's thinking through it. This is fine. This looks good find. Anyway, just trying right now.
Paul, we got to build a native voice.
I'll take fine.
Yeah. We got to build a native voice for Director before we get to Neuralink. We got one more step to take before.
Yeah, I want to talk to my browser. I want to have it do stuff. Folks, definitely give
my browser. Yeah, I'll see you guys. Thank you so much. All right.
Definitely check out Browserbase, one of my favorite browser integrations for sure. We guys also collaborated on a bunch of hackathons. You guys are always sponsoring and doing incredible things. And the people who are building agents are finding that Browserbase tools are very important for them to give agentic capabilities to them. Go and search something is not enough with X APIs. You want to maybe download something and maybe parse it. Browserbase is great for that. Director is a very easy way to get started with Browserbase and Stagehand because it records whatever you want to do. So it uses Director is very, very good. And congrats on the launch, Paul. Thank you so much for joining. And I think for me, the most exciting thing is the new paradigm of authentication or pair website authentication for my vault. And I will just say that personally, I don't think that people should store passwords in the browser. I think those two things should be separated for this exact purpose. If you store your browser passwords in Chrome, like many people do because this is the default option, something like this will be impossible for you until you get out and store this. I personally vouch for 1Password and have been for the past 15 years. They've never been hacked. No password leaks they're very, very well integrated into the security ecosystem. And so seeing them innovate together with you guys on this new agentic paradigm of authentication, I'm very, very excited about that. I was very happy to bring you on to chat about this. And as Paul said, don't give your master keys to your whole house when you can like decide room by room whether an AI can get in there or not. That's a great metaphor. Thank you, Paul. Alrighty,
Thank you,
folks,
guys.
we
See you
need to cheers, man. We need to move on. Qwen, we brought you in to talk about some super exciting stuff, but there's the one thing in the big companies API that we have to cover before we chat about some stuff. But obviously, you're part of the panelists here. You feel free to chime in. ClaudeCode is now on the web. You guys were way more excited about this than I am because I use Codex and I use some other stuff, and Christian, Windsurf. Let's talk about ClaudeCode on the web. Nistan, Yam, what is the most exciting thing there for you? Why is it exciting? What's going on? I had Codex on the web for a while. What's the difference? Nistan, you go first.
I could show it, but we don't have that much time. One, I found it, I could use it from the phone. I was hoping it was a lot better, but it was still good enough that on the chat side, I have the Cloudflare MCP connected, so I can see when deployments failed, or I can check the databases, how they're doing, or when new users came. But I never had a good way to send it stuff unless I used my own tools. The fact that this is integrated only with GitHub, not with GitLab, is that it is just there. Like, it's just on the website. I don't have to worry about like which machine am I SSHing to, or is my server up and stuff. It doesn't do everything you can on a local environment, but it does do almost like 90% of it.
So they have like a secure sandbox thing where like it supposedly runs your stuff, but like it's still very complex, right? Like running your stuff is complex. So how does it actually run your things?
I think people will like it. I can just show.
Yeah,
it.
please.
I'll just show it really quickly. So you have your you got to turn it on.
If you can zoom in, please. Yeah.
Yeah, and they let me just zoom in a bit. So you can make the personas now. So this is the stuff that I liked. Sure, use memory, and then you can do use Cloudflare MCP to check pages. But you could do this before, and you could check up on the app. However, what you couldn't do was you couldn't really look at the code or do anything with the code. But what you can do now is they have this one on the side, and here you can see, oh, I was fixing my actual code, my authentication middleware. And like sometimes it will merge the PR, sometimes it won't, like often. Okay, so this one, it decided it already merged, but review the code again, update to-dos with the 20 points. So it is actually just the command line Claude code on the web. So it does keep track of all of the to-dos. You have some limitations. And the other strange thing is that you can now teleport your session to the CLI.
The actual Claude code.
Yeah, on a whole different machine. So I could probably show that. But like, it's a UI for the terminal. What's happening here, it's also exactly what's happening in the terminal. You can teleport this and go back to the terminal. Now, what I really liked was that there was a mobile interface, so it does work on the app as well. So now you can actually use Claude Code on the go, and it keeps the session running. So you don't have to worry about like, did I close my laptop? Mm-hmm. Did Claude Code stop? Had I turned on tmux? You don't have to worry that much about that stuff because it'll just keep going. So if you have your agentic stuff set up well enough, it will go on for like a good 20 minutes or so. And then you can check up. You can go on the site. You can check up again. And yeah, I feel bad for all the startups that were doing this. Like it's still missing quite a lot of stuff, like permissions that you sent. It can't really do screenshots. You can't really like fire up automated actions, which you could do with Chromium. It doesn't have access to the stuff that the chat has. So it's still not really integrated. There's no voice input. But there is voice input in the chat, so it is a little bit weird. But I think a lot of people will use this that would not normally use Claude Code.
I know we've got to take it step by step, but for me, what I want to see is a new UI here. Like, it's not the sandbox that's the draw for me, because like I've got tmux and SSH, and like that's strictly better for me than this web environment. But what I can see coming is, okay, you've got everything in this sandbox. There's a new UI that you could build from scratch for this kind of loop with an agent Copilot collaborative coding thing. That's what I want to see.
100%.
Yeah, it's not quite that. It's more of just you tell it a thing, you wait 15 minutes, or you just like check up on it on the go.
Step by step.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we have a bunch of other. Yam, you haven't Nista mostly talked about. Tell me about Claude Code on the web.
I just want to say, look, ClaudeCode. The thing about it is that it's a tool that can control a computer, whatever computer, and that might happen to have your code hosted on this computer. Therefore, it can edit your code. But first and foremost, it's a tool that controls the computer through a terminal. Okay, now we're coming full circle because people realize how useful it is. There started to be ports of the same tool to within your code editor and so on. But now people wanted to, for example, just use it on a mobile. By the way, I have it on a mobile. The thing that people are mentioning here about Sandbox is, okay, when it's running on a mobile, which exactly computer does it control? So you have a Sandbox environment on Anthropic servers. And basically, in order to just edit your code, you can plug it into GitHub. That's the way it works. And you can just run it in a sandbox and use it to merge PRs later on. But again, I think it's becoming a little bit convoluted at this point. Like, what exactly is Claude Code? What exactly is Claude Code for mobile? I fully agree that there might be a need for a new user experience here. Because Codex is going the same way as well. There is Codex CLI and Codex Web App, and they're kind of different. So if you need Claude Code and you like it, you can now run it. Once again, get a toilet right here. It's very easy. Just integrate it into GitHub. It takes 5 minutes, and you can send it to do whatever you want, and it will edit the code. The cool thing that I like about Claude Code is because it can control the computer. When I'm running it locally, I can ask it to run the code, to test it out, not just to write the code, not just to edit, because it can run the code and run tests as well, because it can use the computer. And that's something that is harder to do on mobile and Sandbox. Codex is attempting to do this, and it's also not quite as convenient as running.
I think that depends on the code, right? If you have a GPU CUDA stuff, it's not going to run them. But if it's like NPM install, it's probably going to run them.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a good thing. I mean, definitely a good thing to have this app. But maybe I'm not entirely sure where we're going. Everyone is launching everything and just moving their stuff from here to this platform.
I will just shout out that Swix was here last week, and AI Code, AI Engineer Code, where all these people will come and discuss about the advancements is coming up in November. So sign up for that. The speakers were just released. I would love to see you there. He said that ClaudeCode was released this year. Earlier this year. ClaudeCode is not even a year old. This whole paradigm is not even a year old, and it changed completely how much money Anthropic is making within less than a year. And now they're releasing the web interface, and Codex is also a web interface. All right, folks, stay with us. We haven't talked about the video stuff yet. There's a bunch of stuff. We haven't talked about the audio stuff yet. We have the world's top expert in audio real-time stuff, Qwen Haltman Kramer here from Podcast, and we're gonna get to that conversation very, very soon. But before this. This show is sponsored by Wits and Biases, and this is this week's buzz. From CoreWeave. I really have to update this transition thing to say Wits and Biases from CoreWeave, which is now the new thing because we joined CoreWeave, 6 months ago, etc. Blah blah blah. So this actual whole segment is about this week's buzz from Wits and Biases from CoreWeave. All right, so here's what I have for you. Not gonna take too much time. We have two, you guys know, fully connected, which is an ML term that Yam mentioned previously in the chat as well. Fully connected is the name of our conference as well for machine learning practitioners, AI engineers, etc. You guys are welcome. If you are in Europe, London is coming. You're more than invited to come to London November 4 and 5 to meet a bunch of friends. A bunch of Mistral folks are going to be there. Here's my face on the website. That's really funny. And if you are in Asia, Tokyo, I wish I'd be there. Dude, if this wasn't on Halloween, if this wasn't on October 31st, I would have been in Tokyo emceeing this conference. Not emceeing this conference, emceeing this conference. I'm very excited about that because like it's super cool. And there's a bunch of folks in Asia that are like leaning strongly into AI. You will know this if you go to the Sora Japanese feed. You'll see some incredible stuff as well. So fully connected. If you need some tickets, hit me up on DMs. I'll definitely get you in there if you're in Europe or in Tokyo. Fullyconnected.com for that. And the other thing is our host company, CoreWeave, is one of the top, if I'm not mistaken, the only platinum neo-scalar cloud GPU provider on the semi-analysis scale, whatever they had the thing. We have partnered with Meta and with Stanford, and we cooperated on this new release of a new library called TorchForge. And TorchForge is this thing where basically a new URL library from PyTorch, a Python native library, PyTorch native library for scalable RL, post-training, and agentic development. And if you read the blog, you will see that this was developed together with Stanford. I'm not going to go into this whole thing. Maybe I'll bring Aaron, who's a lead engineer on this from our team. But basically, for scheduling multiple hundreds of GPUs runs, there's Ray, and now they release something called Monarch, and Monarch is from the team at Meta. This competes with Ray and the scheduling part, etc. And now PyTorch natively integrates with all of this to give you the ability to scale RL and post-training and agentic development across multiple tons of GPUs. And CoreWeave was a proud provider of those GPUs to Stanford to research this research. So if you are interested in this, if this is for you, if you are training on multiple GPUs, definitely read the blog post, Scaling Reinforcement Learning with TorchForge on CoreWeave Cloud. And obviously those runs are now supported on Sunk, which is our way to provide this thing. So we had a partnership with them. We provided 520 NVIDIA H100s on our platform for this research. So look at TorchForge. If you are using the CoreWeave infrastructure, Sunk is as I think it's Slarm on Kubernetes, which is what they call Sunk, is what we give folks, and you are able to now use this new TorchForge library. So shout out to the team that did this, and shout out to CoreWeave for supporting this important research, because we need alternatives, because RL is here. I think it's basically it. I think that's basically it. Yes. And also AI Engineer Code. Not this week's buzz, but we're sponsoring. We're a proud gold sponsor of that conference. Please join us in New York. ThursdAI is also going to be there covering this, as we did for every AI engineer since its fucking existence. I'm very proud of this. All right, folks, this is this week's buzz. Let's talk about audio. There's a reason I played this twice, because earlier this week, LDJ DM'd me on X and said, you know what, Alex, you asshole, I found myself in the middle of the day just like singing to myself in my head, in this week's as we tell you all about weights and biases. So yeah, this works. LDJ, hopefully you will also be dreaming about this. Yep. Marketing works. Yep. All right, folks, we are moving on. We have like 15 minutes. We have some time to talk about some video releases, including very important ones. But before this, well, actually, it's kind of his video. Qwen, I asked you to come here, though you're not the purveyor of this new technology, but they definitely use Pipekit for some of this. We saw a company called Descartes AI that we talked about before. They did real-time Minecraftization of video streams. They did a real-time diffusion model. They're doing like a bunch of interesting stuff. They have released something very, very cool, which is real-time lip sync augmentation, and that works very well for this. So like what we currently have right now is over the internet connection, where we both see each other. If we add AI in here, there's two ways to add this. One of them is going to be voice. We'll only hear this. But the other one is to put a character. If we put a character, when it says something, it needs to look like it's saying something. That's like basically lip sync. It's possible in the world of offline. So like a bunch of models now. Pretty much Sora and Vio and like all these, they nailed this completely. So the lip sync is perfectly synced to what the character is saying. But it wasn't as easy before. We chatted about like a bunch of open source stuff that do this, and now they added this in real time. Have you seen this release? What's your participation level like? Do you have a demo? Tell me everything.
So I did build a demo last night in a Waymo while I was driving.
No way.
But I don't think we should throw the demo live because this morning it looks to me like they're maybe having some GPU issues. We need to hook them up with CoreWeave. That's 100%. A good problem to have after a launch. There's a nice clip, though, I sent you if you want to show it that they posted on Twitter that gives people a sense of like what this feels like. And then we can talk about the tech because the tech is really fun.
The tech is really fun. Let me see if, oh yeah, you sent it to me. Let me actually show this in a way where we can hear, because I think this is very important. So basically, this is an example of their live
you can
stream.
Go to their playground. You can do exactly this thing in their playground or through the API.
Here, let's go. We're going to do a tab and we're going to do this. Okay, hopefully you guys can see. Yes, and then let's play this.
Hey, can you hear me all right? Cool. So yeah, this is real-time lip movement. No pre-render, no editing. My lips move perfectly in sync with the audio.
This is real time.
Hey, can you...
Qwen, explain this to me. Like, how is this possible? I don't get it.
Architecture diagram. I sent you a little architecture diagram too. I mean, so the interesting thing here to me about the tech is that everything we're now building in like real-time conversational AI is multiple models. And so you're trying to put together multiple models in like a processing graph or a processing pipeline. And to get things really fast, you're usually using like a specialized model for each piece. So what they released yesterday at Descartes is this lip sync model that can operate in real time on a pretty wide variety of video inputs. So you got the demo that you just showed, Alex. You can make your own video and you can stick it into this pipeline. They have an element in the pipeline that pulls the frames out of the video, runs a model inference on each of those frames, and adjusts the lip position, outputs new pixels. We're seeing this pattern even in just voice stuff. So we want to be really fast in a conversational voice AI app, but you're doing things like tool calling. You're starting to build multiple specialized models to do different pieces of even a voice interface. And as soon as you go to image input, image output, video output, robotic sensing, you're definitely in the world of multiple models. So my touch point here is that we work with sort of everybody who does this kind of stuff because Pipecat's an open source framework you can plug into it. Descartes did a really nice cookbook. You can clone it from GitHub. It's got very clean Pipecat code. You can modify any of those elements in the pipeline. You can write your own elements, or you can just take it as is and make a YAML file. And from that YAML file, you get a new character you can talk to on a video call or integrate into any kind of real-time app. I really like the code they put out. We are at the point with real-time video that we were like 18 months ago with voice, where if you know exactly what you're doing, you can put all the pieces together and you can build something really compelling, but it's super fragile and it takes kind of expert knowledge and just the right models. Like I spent a bunch of time trying to make a perfect video character that the lip sync would be as good as their demo characters. I didn't quite even get there, right? Because there's like some specialized knowledge about how that model works. So we're like almost there. I really think over the next 18 months, we're going to have an explosion of real-time video, because when you do get it right, it's so compelling. And especially for like social applications, games, NVIDIA's doing a bunch of really cool stuff with on-device rendering that is like this pipeline. In fact, they're using Pipecat for a fair amount of that kind of, on the bleeding edge NVIDIA character rendering stuff. I think we're just going to see so much stuff that's hard to imagine coming together with audio video world models over the next 18 months.
I absolutely agree. And I think when I saw that this is like real-time lip sync, where I know that like you previously have to run, I don't know, 5B or even like 14B models locally to pre-process, to give you an output, and that's not real time, and this is real time. I was like very excited to see this. LDJ, you have any comments on this? I saw you go off mute.
No, just accidentally clicked it.
Cool. So we just the diagram that you have for us, Qwen. Here's the diagram. Basically, the request goes through WebRTC component transfers, and then they run it to Whisper, speech to text, and then they run it to Grok LLM to understand what you asked it.
Yeah, they made some interesting choices here. So it uses the Pipecat small WebRTC transport, which is a zero dependency peer-to-peer WebRTC transport that just does a direct connection to a server. In this case, when you're running this cookbook, you're probably just running the server locally, and then you're running a web client locally, and you're just making a UDP network connection between them. Then the server component strings together the models in the rest of the processing graph, and so you're running Whisper locally the way they did the cookbook. Then you're calling out to Grok for the LLM to generate text,
a response basically to what the user asks. Yeah,
exactly. So text in from the user, Grok text out for what the avatar is going to say. Then they run it through 11 Labs for the voices. So you're getting a voice generated by 11 Labs. You're putting the video frames together with that voice in their lip sync processor, and then you're sending that time synced audio and video back to the user through the WebRTC transport.
I see. How fast does this actually work? Like, you've tested it out. We only saw videos pre-recorded, which is no different from a pre-recorded lip sync. How fast? Like, what is the round trip around all of this for the user?
What I was seeing in the Waymo on a cellular data connection was sub 2 second, which is good. It's good enough that you feel like it's interactive. Once you get down to about 1 second, it feels completely instantaneous, but sub 2 second is pretty impressive.
Oh, that's very impressive. I think one thing that I wanted to also ask you about, we've seen an animated AI character in Grok. There's Annie, there's Valentino, whatever, there's V. That's not the same thing, right? Like, they are animating the lips with a 3D software that was receives the audio and then understands the phonemes or whatever, and then modulates the lips based on that. But that's not a diffusion model changing the lips. That's just like a 3D model that's baked in. This is completely different.
Yeah, it's like the Elon Grok stuff is like a puppet, and you're driving that puppet with digital control points.
Yeah.
3D mesh. It's great. It's a different approach. This is basically video to video. So if I give you a reference video, you can turn that reference video into a character.
Yeah. And in the next segment, we're going to watch a few video models that are now doing perfect lip sync, including the one from LTX, including the one from Rev. And I use the same image of me sitting in here and to judge how closely they match the person. Those models all do lip sync almost perfectly now. It's quite incredible how far we moved from a model that generates something and it doesn't match the voice to perfect lip sync.
The funny thing for me is we're still, I don't think, I'm curious what you think, but I don't think for photorealistic lip sync, any of the models are quite on the other side of the uncanny valley. They're good, and you can certainly use them for use cases where, people are not super concerned about that. But what I would like to see, even before the photorealistic, video folks get all the way there, is our brains process like cartoon images and non-photorealistic images completely differently. And you can get away with a lot with lip sync in a non-photorealistic image. And it's still really, really compelling. I'd love to see people working on these models really push in the non-photorealistic direction and get that all the way nailed with really, really low latency, really reliable models for any kind of cartoonish input. I actually think that would unlock a bunch of super interesting stuff. But it's a little like, the big labs train their LLMs on certain things that they care about, and they ignore a lot of other stuff. The video folks really want to get to perfect photorealism. And I'm like, I get it. And I'm excited about that too. But spend a little time on the non-photorealistic, because we could do a lot with it.
I think that this is a perfect segue to our next segment, which is going to be about video. And definitely, let's keep chatting about this as we show this. The thing, am I showing my screen yet? Hold on, please. Yeah, I'm going to go here. The next piece of our ThursdAI segment is video, obviously, as you guys understood. And the Bill Pebbles, I think, is from Sora. Bill Sora. I think I'll find it like his. He posted about the next Sora roadmap update, and you'll see something exactly like this. So Sora obviously has cameos. Cameos in Sora are only people. You need to scan your face. You need to read out the 3 numbers. You need to say your voice in order for it to create a cameo. You cannot upload images to Sora or videos. You can upload images, but they can't have human faces in it. So basically, they took a lot of steps so that Sora feed is only Sora generated 100%. And then the cameos are only your cameo. and you can only use other cameos if people open them up. The next update to Sora, though, is going to have something, Qwen, that you mentioned very, very distinctly. And Sora is perfect lip sync. I believe, like the uncanny valley on the other side of this. If I show somebody a video of Sora, they're not sure if it's reality or not. If I show somebody reality, they're not sure if it's Sora or not. Like I had both of these. I talked about on the podcast with Sam Altman. The next iteration of Sora, though, they will introduce cameos that I can upload of not of people but of characters, and this is kind of how it looks, and it looks super cool. I'm just going to show you guys. Hopefully, you'll see in here.
Hi there. I'm a character cameo.
And I'm a character cameo too. Anything can be a character cameo.
So for folks who are listening right now, we're watching a sunny side up egg in the frying pan sizzling with the eyes as the yolks of the eggs, and the white thing has a nose and a face, and this face has lip sync that says, and I'm a cameo too. I'm gonna play this one again because this is crazy.
Cameo too. Anything can be a character cameo.
You can even upload your pets as cameos and put them into any scene you want. Character cameos coming soon to Sora.
I think that this is, hopefully you guys saw this and heard this. I think that this is like absolutely the next step in, first of all, Sora generation, because like people will just create incredible ones and they'll share them, and then people will reuse them, and we'll see like the rise of like the cameo world, whatever. We'll see the social dynamics of that. But generally, this is also a way to like get to the place where you want, like where it's like animated stuff that looks very good. Dude, the egg on the frying pan was insane. I saw this, I was like, what the fuck?
I feel like it's not a big leap for what the models can do today for those to be real time. And when I was talking about not quite over the uncanny valley, I was mostly thinking about the real time stuff.
Real time aspect. So you can like have them on with us as co-hosts for ThursdAI and like chat with them like we are doing right now.
Would you have the sunny side up egg be a co-host?
100%. First of all, I would animate LDJ's cat avatar that's been sitting with us, and nobody here knows what LDJ looks like. I would just like animate this. I would be able to give LDJ the anonymity he wants to without compromising, while also seeing some animated conversation skills. Yeah, definitely. The real time.
You know how I look like, Alex. You've seen me.
Me, yes, but we have 7,000 views for today's stream, and none of them know what the co-host looks like, which is fine. Yep. Maybe for the 3-year anniversary of ThursdAI. All right, so this was from Sora, and we definitely want to get to the point where it's real time. Qwen, it's gonna be there. Like, it's clear to all of us that the trajectory is clear. We're moving towards real-time ability to chat with those characters, with those cameos, with those AI generations, and it's real time. Speaking of real time, we should move on to the next thing that we have, which is breaking news from, I think, today with LTX. Folks, we talked about Lightrix, the company, a couple of times ago. LTX has a studio of video production that you can plug in any other video model into. It's called the LTX Studio, and they also released their model. So we talked about the real-time model, and they released LTX 2. And I really want to show you LTX 2 because I think it's like super, super cool. And they said, we're more than a studio. We also have the model. LTX represents a major breakthrough. It's fast generation, native 4K, lip sync, and high frame rate, up to 10 seconds of video. And let's take a look at some examples.
I just hope this.
So here's a few of the highlights here. Native 4K. Most of the video models that we currently know about, they are upscaling to even 1080p. I think VO is not even 1080p native, or it only starts to be. This is native 4K, which is very, very impressive. But they're also mentioning that they have 3 versions of this: Fast, Pro, and Ultra, that's coming soon. Supposedly Fast to move quickly, Ultra when every pixel counts. So you can iterate fast on an idea on prompts, and kind of the same prompt will get you the same results in the Ultra model. They claim to get the fastest generations on the market. The speed removes blockers. So definitely one thing about Sora, and Sora Pro was released, 2 weeks ago? Excuse me. That waiting for a Sora generation to see whether or not your prompt hit exactly like you wanted it is excruciatingly painful as an iterative process. for iteration, before we get to real time, which is the things that happen, for iteration, you need some speedy stuff. VO3 is good at this. VO has 2 models, and one of them is faster. You can like really iterate with VO. You can try a bunch of stuff. Oh no, actually going to change the prompt, etc. Really hard to iterate with Sora because it's so slow, especially with Sora Pro. And LTX is claiming that they have near real time speed. One of the fastest generations on the market. Let's take a look at that video super quick. It's like 7 seconds. They call it faster than real time, which is an interesting choice. I think the previous version of LTX, the one that was released in open source, I think do you guys remember off the top? I'm trying to remember. There was a 5 billion version and a 12 to 14 range billion version of LTX. The 5 billion was generating videos under 5 seconds. So they would generate 5-second videos under 5 seconds, which they would essentially call faster than real time. Obviously, the real time that Qwen and I are talking about is streaming real time. That's like completely different. But essentially, you could consider that this model generates things in near real time. We'll get to real time as well. And what else from LTX? Native 4K and 1440p and 1080p. It's very, very cool. And the last thing is what I told you about, guys. Lip sync is coming everywhere. Sound is coming everywhere. This model supports sound and lip sync. Let's take a look.
Bring it on. You said milk made from oats?
So native lip sync as well with high frame rate. It's pretty cool. Is it open source though? I don't believe it is. It's only in their LTX Studio.
The weights are coming later this fall.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And
so
the training code's coming, which is awesome.
Oh, for custom things, like kind of like when we talk about Cameo, like folks should understand, like it is possible open source models via LoRa's. Like we've trained custom video things via LoRa's. If you go to CivitAI, for example, there's custom video for Van from Hunyan Video, from like a bunch of video models. The open source community will get to that level. It's not gonna be as smooth as Cameos in the beginning, but we'll get to the point where like we can, train this coffee cup with the smiley on its face to also talk.
And I think it's really important because you can't get all the way there with prompting with image and video models. Like prompting is a skill and really important. But if you want a particular style, a particular like look, a particular way of camera movement, at least as far as I am able to do it, you can't get all the way there with prompting. You need to do some fine tuning, some LoRa stuff, something.
Yeah, LoRa definitely for character consistency is one of the biggest like hurdles for character consistency. All right, I wanna comments on this, folks, super quick before we move on. Comments on LTX?
Yeah, very impressive. Just wanted to share screen from their website. The open source as strategic advantage. Confirm that weights and training code releasing later this fall. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh,
Seriously amazing.
I think I will have to bring them on. I think I know some of the folks involved in LTX, and I think I will have to bring them on for this because, like, real-time video model of this quality is definitely very, very impressive. So shout out to them. Folks, we're almost at the end. We talked about Sora. We talked about thing. I want to show you another unannounced release. Like I told you about how to get ChatGPT to understand videos, and Yama's now going to use this everywhere. And there's also an unannounced release that it's there, so I don't feel bad. I don't have like prior knowledge, etc. I talked to you about Rev. I was also able to show you some examples of Rev, but I really want to like show an example of Rev. Nistan had to drop by Nistan. An example of Rev, the interface. I use Rev to generate thumbnails for the show. So this week's thumbnail was created for the show, and you can see kind of the progression. I uploaded an image of myself here, and then an image here, and then an image here, and I asked it, and now it can like use my face. This is not LoRa. This is not my face trained on it. This is just the image getting context from multiple images as input and understanding it. But I learned this week that Rev also has video. When you go in there, there's this button, create video, and let's see if this is the video one. Yeah, this is how it looks. So you can see that I uploaded my image that I recorded before, and I believe that this is one of my best lighting moments in my studio. It's no longer as high quality lighting. I need to get it there. And basically, I created this video. It took a while. It's way longer than VO3, for example. But like, I think you can hear this also. And look at the lip sync as well.
Welcome everyone to ThursdAI, October 23rd.
It can't say ThursdAI, which is, by the way, Sora is great at this. But the lip sync itself, obviously not my voice, but the lip sync itself is.
Welcome everyone to ThursdAI, October 23rd.
The lip sync is really, really good for a model that, like, you know, this pronounces the name of ThursdAI for Rev. And yeah, this is it take a while. It looks like their own model. It doesn't seem like they're using anything below. And coming out of the gate with a model that also does videos, very impressive. Shout out to Rev. But obviously, I think I showed you this, guys. I'll show you this again. This was my let's say the template for this week's thumbnail. And then the cool thing about Rev is when the edit mode, it understands the things in the picture, and you can just talk to it like with Nano Banana. But the cool thing is you can add objects with the thing and just say, I want a picture of a cat on a yellow background in a circle. You can just add things, and the editing interface will allow you to just like move this where you want to add this, and you can say cat in a circle inside this monitor. So like, let's say we'll have LDJ. So it will understand where you're pointing and understand what you want to put there and apply edits. I think that this way of editing with Nano Banana doesn't exist, and this way of editing with Seedream 4 also doesn't exist. This is like Photoshop for AI editing, and this is why I keep using Rev. And you can see the new model like very quickly just added another like cat here. It did remove the previous monitor, but it added another cat exactly where I wanted it, exactly with the yellow background. This is a shout out to LDJ, a different cat though. So this is Rev. I think that, folks, this is it. We covered pretty much everything on the show. There was no breaking news. It looks like from the comments, folks are catching up to comments. Jose said, "Did you see the Genie 3 is released?" Genie 3 is not released, but they're preparing to release this, I think. So Genie 3 is the generative world model from Google, and it apparently, based on testing catalog, they started to work on working on releasing this. So let me show you how this looks here. So testing catalog finds all kinds of things that people, before they like ready to experiment, but it looks like a Genie experiment is coming, and you'd be able to create your world and walk in this world with Genie 3. Something I'm so looking forward to testing it out and telling you guys when it comes. It looks like it's about to happen. It's coming soon. And also other 3 coded 3.0 coded, like we keep waiting for Gemini 3 as well. Keep waiting for that. That's going to come soon. But with that, I think, folks, we're over our time a little bit, and wanted to say huge thanks to the folks who came and made the show. Qwen, thank you so much for joining us ever again. Always a pleasure to have you. Paul Klein was here talking about Browserbase. Nisa had to drop, LDJ and Yam, and everybody from the almost 7,000 folks that tuned in to the live stream, which is incredible. Thank you so much for joining ThursdAI from week to week. We have the distinct pleasure of having to follow up with AI so that we keep you up to date with AI as well. So this is like a benefit to us as well. If you are new to any part of the show is turning into a newsletter and a podcast immediately on the same Thursday. So if you are new and you want to not miss any show anymore or any part of ThursdAI, please subscribe to ThursdAI.news to get it if you missed an episode or missed any part of the show. And with that, I will say goodbye. Thank you so much, folks, and we'll see you here next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.